of the chairperson and vice chairperson. 3, honorable members, committee meetings are scheduled to take place tomorrow, 5th October 2022, and the main agenda is election of chairperson and vice chairpersons. Interested candidates for those positions, of course, are hereby invited to pick nomination papers for the positions from the Office of Sergeant at Arms and return them to the Office of Director, Procedure and Committee Services, which is located on the 4th floor, before 9 a.m. tomorrow, 5th October 2022. We can have the next order, clerk.
Order number 9, motion. The thanks of the Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the address of the Governor delivered on 27th September 2022.
Majority Leader, I invite you to move the continuation of that debate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order number 20, the thanks of the Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the address of the Governor delivered on the 27th September 2022. Honorable members, this is the continuation of debate on the Governor's address to this House. Madam Speaker, I was guided that I could give my remarks once I stand, so I would wish to give my remarks on the Governor's speech.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank the Governor for a very good and powerful address to this House. Number one, what captured my eye is the recognition of the County Integrated Development Plan as a primary tool that is going to guide us for the next 5 years. My plea to the county executive is that these honorable members be taken through the CIDP so that their input is also recorded, since we were not there when they did the CIDP. I'd also wish that since CIDP is what shows the direction of where the county is going, that the Governor and the executive wing actualize performance contracting as a tool to speed up development. Because the CIDP could be very good, but without the tool that propels or compels the executive to perform, it might be just a document. So I wish that the executive side of the government will enhance or promote performance contracting so that the executives are up to speed. I also wish to say that CIDP, I think as a tool, we need to have a monitoring and evaluation. We cannot just be moving without knowing whether we are moving on the right direction or not. So maybe from the executive side, they will need to give us, report once in a while on how we are doing. Number two, on the Governor's speech, I keep saying that we are one of the richest counties around, but we have never hit the target for internal revenue collection. So that is going to be very important, that everything that is captured in the CIDP and that eventually is provided for in the budget, without the internal revenue, might all be a pipe dream. So I would urge that we work together with the government, with the executive side of the government, to promote internal revenue sources. And one way would be actually automation. In this age of technology, I do not know why the county still uses receipts and pens. I wish that in every collection point, there is an automated system where the money is sent direct to the county coffers. The governor also promised in her speech that she's going to look at the internal leakages And I would urge the members, the leakages of revenue is done by our own, if, so to speak. So it will not be bad to point to the government that we sense or we think a certain point of internal revenue collection, there is a leakage, so that they can act on that. The other thing that caught my attention in the governor's speech is the issue of climate change and environment. I would want to, as an expert in that area, I want to recognize that climate change is a real threat to everybody. I went to Masinga to Mheshimiwa DS ward, and I could see the direct effect of climate change. Loss of livelihood. In fact, climate change, I would classify it as a national security threat, because people are fighting over pasture. People are fighting where they go stealing food from each other. So the governor promised to work with the international donor community to mitigate against climate change. But I would also think that as a house, we have an obligation to legislate on this matter. And also, when the budgeting committee is doing its reallocation, we see whether we can, reallocate at least more on issues to do with climate change. For now, I rest my case, but I think the direction given by the governor's speech or address to this house was wonderful. It needs a little bit of panel beating, and we'll get there. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I would like to request members who never contributed to the debate in the morning to be the ones to contribute from now onwards. Let me be sure that you never contribute. Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And if I can say it in Kikamba Wodhua. Thank you. I want to tackle 2 or 3 issues in our governor's speech. And one is revenue, where the previous speaker, who is the majority, has spoken about. The heart of the 3 pillars of governor's government is revenue collection, where the former regime failed very terribly. The first assembly, in its wisdom, visited the quarries in Adhiriva. And that was early 2013, 2014. They established that our government was collecting between 1 million and 1.5 daily. 10 years later, from the reports we were getting from the former regime, that amount came down to around 500,000. But we know currently our government gets over 3 million daily in those quarries, which translates to around 1 billion in a year. With 1 billion in quarry fees, I think the Wavinya care policy will be actualized. The other thing, the governor promised to jail thieves who are letting revenue go to people's pockets. Those who live in Machakos know that the pay bill or the till number for CAPAX was going to an individual account. Those are areas which, if we support the governor as an assembly, we will seal all those loopholes and increase the basket of revenue. The other one is about on lands. The governor promised to repossess government land and houses which have been taken away by the cartels in this country. Personally, I was touched by that, and if I'll be of any help in chasing and arresting them, nitasaidia sana. The last one, but not the least, the Wavinya care. It will help our, I'm coming from a marginalized point of view. There are groups which I lead here in town, some which operate in the night. And I can tell you for free, they are marginalized, and I can tell you for free, the Wavinya care policy will ease a lot of burden from their shoulders. And I think they will adopt the campus saying, which says, "Kudhamba na kusioka soko tena." It will help our mothers and our ladies, those who operate in night or those who operate daytime. They will have more time to work for this great county of Machakos. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Kabiu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd also like to appreciate Madam Governor on maiden speech that she made on this house, that clearly shows that she's focused to make sure that Machakos County regains its lost glory. And from her speech, I would like to make a few comments on a few items. And the first item being the issue of land. Madam Speaker, in the morning, I was not able to attend the morning session because of one issue that was happening in my area, where a private citizen thought that it was fit to grab, and while Madam Governor is working so hard to ensure that people of Machakos have access to water, there is an individual who thinks that they are untouchable, and they were busy trying to cover a public dam at an area called Sikia. And on the same note, I would request the Committee on Lands to ensure and help the county government to ensure all public lands, from dams, rivers, and any public utility land that was set aside, they are clearly mapped and issued with clear title deeds that clearly shows ownership of those lands. And also, I would also like to implore the members of this honorable house, we also come up with stringent bills that will properly deal with such cartels, those who think that they can benefit from lands that was allocated for public use. On the same issue, that is on land. On issue of water, climate change and its impact are already very much evident in Machakos, and therefore, as a house, I would also like us to come up with clear laws that will help the government of the day to make sure that our people have access to clean and water that can help us to turn around the adverse effect of climate change that are affecting our county of Machakos all the way from Kithioko to Mulolongo. The effects are very much evident. And on the issue of water, I think we have had issues where our people are suffering because of being not able to access clean water, and they are being forced to use water from the Athi River, which is severely polluted, and its effects are already being felt in Machakos. We have so much rampant cases of cancer in areas of Mwala, I think also Kangundo, Ndonyo Sambuk, and also here in Mavoko. The effects are already manifesting and our people are suffering, and I would like the government of the day to come up with measures and see how we can save the river so that we can see life again on it. Then on issue of health, on governor's speech, the part that caught my eye is on where the governor and the government made a pledge to ensure that every ward has a level 3 hospital. That is very commendable, and that will ensure health services are brought closer to our people. And I believe the same as on my case, and it applies also to the other honorable members, we promised our constituent that we are going to make sure that they have access to better health care. And also to supplement the efforts of the governor, we'll also recommend that all medical supplies that are made for Machakos County, they be branded or they have a county seal. And anybody who is found selling or distributing those supplies in private clinic, then the law will have to take its course, because we cannot have medical supplies that are made to help our people being directed to private clinics and also benefiting a few people, while our people in Kinanie and those who are in Kithioko are suffering because they are not being able to access medical supplies at the dispensaries. And on the issue of health, I would also like to pledge or to request the governor at Chumvi, the area I represent, there is a health facility structure that was commissioned, I think 7 years ago, and a lot of public money was pumped into it, but because of corruption and lack of better supervision, today it remains just as a museum. And it's a facility that if it's completed and equipped, it will help relieve pressure on level 5 hospital tremendously, because most of our neighboring people who come from the neighboring county to seek services from level 5 will be able to be attended at the Chumbi Health Center facility if it is equipped, and also it will save life on the victim of accidents that occur periodically on the on the Nairobi-Mombasa highway, because most of the time people die on their way to Machakos level 5 to seek for medical attention. So, and lastly, on the issue of revenue collection, as Majority Leader alluded, I think the time for Machakos County to automate the revenue collection services was yesterday, and that needs to be implemented. And if we don't have the resources, or it's not possible to implement the same immediately, especially on the quarries, I would recommend that we identify the people who are engaged in the business, then we can do an assessment and projection and have them pay on monthly basis directly to the county government of Machakos, so that we loop those loophole where we are losing money to a few individual, yet our people are in dire need of services that require money. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. My eye has been caught by by the hands of Mheshimiwa Lloyd and Mheshimiwa Mercy, and I want to assure you that I'm a fair speaker. I love everybody talk. So in that order, Mheshimiwa Lloyd, proceed. After you, Mheshimiwa Mercy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. My name is Lloyd Mutua. I have interacted with the speech of our governor, and I wish to say that sometimes at the end of the campaigns, when our party leader endorsed Honorable Wavinya, I went through the manifesto. And I can say this speech is part of the manifesto that she used to campaign with. From my assessment, I can say Honorable Wavinya has so good intention for the people of Machakos. Many speakers, honorable members, have said almost everything that is in the speech. But out of the experience, I would like to say, I've been in politics for a while, and majority of my friends are politicians. I've interacted with the county government of Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, Kitui, Makueni, and here a lot. The governor could be having the best intention to help the people, but the people she appoints in cabinet could be having other intentions, and those are the people who could end up derailing our development. So we wish to ask our governor to nominate the best people who have the intention of the people of Machakos, and that one who is the work of this house. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa Masi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. On the issue of agriculture, the governor was very clear on her intentions of finding innovative ideas of improving the agriculture in Machakos. And from my experience, as a farmer, I know that she will need a lot of creative ideas. There's a lot of research that has been done on desert farming. Machakos is a dry area, so I believe that we should expect a lot of outside the box thinking if the realization of good agricultural practices are going to come to Machakos through the governor. On the issue of trade, she also alluded to the fact that she's going to support and find linkages locally and internationally for Machakos products. That was the missing link, and I know with the government in power right now supporting manufacturers and producers of Machakos, that will be the changing point of trade in Machakos. On the issue of youth and sports, I feel like it is very smart to include the youth in the education sector, because we're looking at a youth that will come out of that, who will be supported by that department to be smart in decision making, smart. There's a lot of opportunities for vocational training, opportunities for people who've learned, who've studied vocational training. We have carpentry, very, very marketable in Canada. So those kind of things are going to be very important by linking youth and the education sector, because we will churn out quality rather than quantity. Lastly, as a special elect, I'm very passionate about women. The 1 million word fund will be revolutionary, because we're talking about people who are unbankable. The banks don't feel like they have the potential, and they do not want to put risk on those people. So that 1 million fund and also the revolving fund will be a very, very big support to people who are starting up, people looking to scale up, but the banks are not willing to support them because of the risk factor. So in conclusion, I feel the governor's heart is in the right place, and we're going to see good things if this happens.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Vincent.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for seeing me eventually. I had to shift my sitting position in the morning so that you can capture. But I thank you
I said
anyway.
I'm going to be fair to everyone.
Asante. Thank you very much for that opportunity to contribute and to speak to this wonderful document by our governor that paints an image, a picture of hope to our people. When you listen and when you hear what the governor had to say concerning the various issues that affect the county, you could sense a message of hope that we can take back home and tell our people, yes, this is the deal that we've been waiting for some time. When you look at the issues beginning from the task force on the various subjects that the governor identified, this is a show that the governor wants to know what has been happening so that you can chart, she can chart the way forward depending on where we are as at now. The reports that will come out of the task forces, I think this House will be interested to know what reports do we have in those, from those task forces, and what legislative duties can we undertake, maybe to safeguard some of the problems that would have that came up as omissions or commissions of officers in those sectors of our government. When you look also at infrastructure, and on this one I will base my contribution on the part of roads, you realize that when we have poor roads, it will hinder communication. Many people will not be able to access services. Many people will not be able to take their goods and their products to the markets, and this will eventually make what we will call in business the overheads and the running costs to be high. The profits margin will go down because the cost of transporting the goods, the products, the farm produce to the markets will definitely go high. Even when our people are supposed to go to hospitals, with poor roads, such people cannot be able to access essential services easily. So with the idea by the governor to make the roads passable, it gives us hope to know that our areas will be served well, our people will be able to attend to their daily activities with swift and without the hindrance of poor road networks. The concept of the World Fund domiciled at the sectors, the different departments, will go a long way in helping our people, because you will realize that these people, they will have a say in the projects that are implemented under this fund. As we want to say this clearly, that when our people identify with these projects, they will know that their government, either from the executive branch or their elected representative, is delivering for them. Madam Speaker, the development, and I want to look at it from a different perspective, especially from education. When we give our children the best education, and what the governor proposes, it will not just take children to school, but it is about keeping our children in school. Because sometimes our children will go to school, but they are hungry, they cannot stay in school. The feeding program, the bursaries will help our children to stay in school. The environment, the learning environment that the governor has proposed to make it happen in our learning institutions will also make our children stay at school. When the learning environment is good, then the excitement is high. And when our children, our pupils are excited to be in school, they will be able to learn and to understand in a better way. We must commend the governor for developing such a good idea to keep our children in school. Many children were not able to go to school for many reasons. Maybe because of the state of poverty amongst our people, or even cultural practices that might not allow children to go to school. And the future of these children is dependent on this program that the governor will roll out as we move forward. In a certain book, there was a man who wrote a story. It is called The Merchant of Venice. And there was a girl there called Portia. And in that story, the writer points out the disadvantage of a society that does not value her children. Because the father of this child, before he died, he had prepared 3 caskets, to the extent that the man who will identify the right casket will marry the child Portia. So this child did not have the right to determine her happiness in the future. This child did not have the right to determine who she will go with, despite having that as a freedom accorded to her by God. So you will realize, Madam Speaker, that since time immemorial, our children have been given a raw deal. But with a program to make sure our children will be able to access education and to determine their future, this is a program that anybody with a sound mind will support. I stand here to congratulate the governor because of the plan, especially on health. The hierarchy that the governor is giving us, where we will have a dispensary at every sub-location, where we will have a level 3 hospital in every ward, where we will have a level 4 hospital in every sub-county. That hierarchy will help our people to stay healthy. We know that a healthy nation is a productive nation. Therefore, as we look into this statement that the governor has given us, it is easier to read through and to see that there is hope for our people. When we look at the level 3 hospitals at the ward level and the dispensaries at the sublocation level, it will be easier to address the curative aspect of health and the preventive aspect of health. The dispensaries at the sublocation will be best suited to administer the productive programs in the subject of health, whereas the other levels in the higher levels of health facilities will address the curative aspect of health. Therefore, we support the efforts that the governor is making towards making our county better. Nevertheless, this house has a duty to guard this dream. You will realize that in many multinationals and many corporate institutions, the CEO bears the vision and the dream of the institution. But sometimes top managers will frustrate that dreams. Therefore, in this case, the governor is the CEO, and we will have top managers who will be given individual responsibility for this dream. I think this house needs to take a responsibility to guard this dream against it being infiltrated, against it being taken away and adopted differently from the way the governor has given it to us. I think, and I will propose someday, that we need to amend the standing orders of this house so that we can invite county executive members to answer questions in regards to the vision that the governor has for this county. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, as we work together, many people have said that, look, the assembly should be independent. Look, the assembly should not be an extension of the executive. But I want to invite this house to know that interdependence is a higher value than independence. Whenever we work together, our people will get value for our services. Whenever we fight, as the Brazilian poet always said, that a prolonged battle wears down the victor. When we fight with the executive, when we do not work with that understanding that we are serving the same people, it is the same people who elected us who will suffer. It is the same people who elected us who will have trouble staying in this county. Therefore, as we support this dream, it is also important for this house to guard this dream. I thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Vincent. I will invite 2 more members to contribute. But before I do that, I'd like to bring to the attention of membership here that this debate is very important, and I can hear it's taking a very good direction. And it is from this debate we can generate some business for the debate of the House. So as we go on, I would like us to think through a lot about the speech of the governor, and come up with we generate some business from it. So it's not just debating, but we get something out of it. Thank you very much, members. And even before I put your hands down, before I identify the 2 members, I also want to assure you, members, that everybody will contribute. I'm taking notes, I'm taking names down so that I don't leave anybody out. So whether it is today or not today, be assured that you will contribute to this debate. Is that okay, members? Yeah, so I would like to call upon Mheshimiwa Annabel to contribute. From there, I call upon, and if I don't identify you, don't hate me. I said everybody will contribute eventually, okay? So, Mheshimiwa Caroline, you'll be the next. And then maybe last and not least, Mheshimiwa Evelyn. And lastly, the very last, Mheshimiwa Dominic. Don't feel like I've left you out. Mheshimiwa Annabel, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. So I'm Anna Dilo, representing the great people of diaspora all the way from Masinga, special elect. So I have 3 recommendations to make. First of all, I would want to thank Her Excellency Avinyandeti Machakos Governor for such an impressive agenda for the people of Machakos. First of all, I would like the honorable members in this house to understand that health is the epitome of life, meaning you can't read, you can't walk, you can't stay if you are not healthy. But this is my recommendation. As per see last week, she organized for the distribution of medicine in different hospitals. I would want to bring to our attention that there are specialized diseases such as cancer, as my fellow Honorable Kaviu has said. I had an opportunity to tour in this weekend in the areas of Mwala, where breast cancer, prostate has become a big problem in the society. And because I've previously worked in such Texas Cancer Center and other cancer centers, you find that the machine for testing cancer is very much expensive. So I'm looking forward for the Honorable Mavinya Ndeti Governor to maybe invite donors or maybe well-wishers or NGOs that maybe can provide the measures or machines for testing cancer, because the machines are very expensive. You'd note that the cause of this cancer is the pollution of Earth River. Earth is a polluted river, and so I would recommend Her Excellency Honorable Mavinya Ndeti to also look up for measures to wash or clean the Earth River. The second point goes on the rural development. From where I come from, the bottom-up model, we say rural development is the epitome of economic growth. For example, where I come from, Masinga, there's no Maram Road, there's no electrification. So I'm putting this, it is a point of concern from my side, that may be rural electrification. And you'll find that even the bracing of the roads that was done last week and the previous weeks, some of the activities have left the roads worse than they were found. So maybe for the road that is connecting Muranga and Masinga, I would recommend it be put Maram on it. The last point goes on the youth and sports. You will find that Machakos County is a very wealthy county, but most of the graduates from the universities are idling up and down the street of Machakos and other towns. They do not have jobs. So on the point of youth and sports, the point on digital innovations, through educating the youth on the computers, developing their talents, can curb joblessness and unemployment to our youths. So I'm putting this as a point of concern, Her Excellency, Madam, the Governor Mavinya Ndeti, to go on empowering our youths who are idling around without no jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I had said Caroline, Honorable Caroline, please proceed.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. I'm Caroline Mutuku, Special Elect, Maendeleo Chapter Party. There's so much that has been said about all the good things with speech of Her Excellency. What I would recommend, which I haven't heard most people say, it's about the GBV. If it's possible for the governor to have like training of the women, vocational training for the women. If they choose after they have been cancelled and they wish to return to their husband, it is okay. But if they choose not to return to their husbands, they can have like a source of income. They can have activities to do with maybe sewing, or there are so many vocational training they can do so that they can earn an income for their little ones. Also on the daycare, I believe it would be a source of income also to the people who are doing that. So I commend the governor on that. I think that the one that really touched me was the GBV. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Evelyn.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this privilege. I'm Evelyn Zeki, the true voice of Kangundo Eastward. I stand to applaud and appreciate the governor's speech simply because it touches the basic necessities that is required by the people of Machakos County. And as more so elected leaders, we strongly believe that these are the things you promise our people will ensure they be brought forth to them. So it's a clear-cut, Madam Governor means well for the people of Machakos County. I want to recommend on one factor that I'm sure it has ensured even all of us to be here, and that is education. We know that education is a basic right, and we cannot try ignorance on it. And here you can see the governor cuts a mustard on it by first increasing the bursary allocation, which I'm very sure will relieve the burden of school fees from the parents. She is also determined to facilitate the vocational training centers, which I'm very sure they are going to empower youth with skills and knowledge, and by doing so, and by the end of the matter, they'll be able to be self-employed, which will, in such a case, will curb the menace of unemployment in our wards. Lastly, she's also planning to sort out the issue of starving in the ECD schools. It's my plea as she plans to recruit new teachers. There's issue of replacement, which has been brought forth by death and also retirement of the teachers. So I'm sure it will save the parents from paying more fees, especially in ECD schools. So over and above and all explained, if this speech is well actualized, it will solve most of the problems of Machakos County. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Dominic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Dominic Ndambuki, representing Kathiani Central Ward. And I'd like to applaud the Governor, Honorable Wavinya Ndeti, for enumerating the plans that she has for the people of Machakos County. Madam Speaker, I want to tackle 3 areas. The first one being health, where in her speech, Honorable Governor mentioned about having level 3 hospitals or level 3 facilities in every ward. I would request that when funds are availed, that this be fast-tracked to ensure that our people have access to health care. Again, on the same, Madam Speaker, there is the issue of level 4s. My request is that we have ambulances equipped with modern facilities and equipment for the level 4s, and for the level 3s, we at least have an ambulance that can rescue our people when there are times for emergencies. On energy, Madam Speaker, Honorable Governor mentioned that there are plans to have mlikamwizis or floodlights installed in all markets. This, Madam Speaker, will ensure that Machakos County is mapped as a 24-hour economy county, and this will encourage growth of our economy. On trade, Madam Speaker, I will agree with the Governor that we need to look for better markets for our horticultural products. And as we do so, Madam Speaker, I would request that we try to do away with middlemen who take much of the rewards or the money that goes to our farmers, so that we ensure they get better returns for their products. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Dominic. And at this point, I would advise or direct that we adjourn the debate on Governor's speech, and we continue with it in our next meeting. Clerk, we have the next order.
Order number 10, motion, adjournment of the House.
Honorable Majority Leader, please proceed and move the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that aware that the first session of the Third Assembly commenced on the 27th September 2022, aware that the membership of the House Business Committee was approved by this Assembly on the 28th September 2022, further aware that Standing Order number 151, Suborder 6, provides for the mandate of the House Business Committee, which amongst others is to prepare and, if necessary, from time to time adjust the assembly calendar with the approval of the House. Acknowledging that there is need to have the House Business Committee prepare the calendar for the first session of the Third Assembly and table the report for approval. Honorable Speaker, aware that the House has approved a report of selection on placement of members to the various select committees of this Assembly, further aware that the committees need to convene meetings to elect chairpersons and vice chairpersons, consider work plans and attend an induction training in furtherance to the operations of the committees and preliminary sittings. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that, pursuant to Standing Order 28, this House adjourns its sitting from today on 4th October 2022 to resume on 18th October 2022 to allow the House Business Committee prepare the Assembly calendar and honorable members participate in other committee activities. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would request the Honorable Phoebe Koki to second the motion. Sorry.
Honorable Phoebe
Thank
Koki.
you, Madam Speaker. I'm Phoebe Koki, a special elected member by the Maendeleo Chapter Party. I stand to second the motion on adjournment of this House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Koki. I now propose that the question that, pursuant to Standing Order number 28, this House adjourns its sitting from today, 4th of October 2022, to resume on 18th of October 2022, to allow the House Business Committee prepare the Assembly calendar and honorable members participate in other committee activities. I now invite members to debate the motion. The floor is yours, members. Mheshimiwa Ndeti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand to second the motion. I think it's the high time we adjourn so that we can sit down and let the House Business Committee to come up with the calendar and business of the House. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Do I have another honorable member? Yes, digital, I've forgotten.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Matthew Ndunda. Digital is okay still. It's the name from my ground. I come from Kangundo North. I do really support the adjournment of the House so as to ensure that the House is on the line of preparing the arrangements of the next calendar so as to ensure that everything is in order. Equally, it will help also to ensure that the committees, as we have seen, we have prepared so as to come when prepared and start the House as it deserves. Thank you. I support the motion.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Okay, at this point, I call the mover of the to reply to the motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think the honorable members recognizes the work ahead for the development of the House calendar and also for formation of the committees. So thank you for supporting the adjournment. Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I now put the question that, pursuant to Standing Order 28, this House adjourns its sitting from today on 4th of October 2022 to resume on 18th of October 2022 to allow the House Business Committee prepare the Assembly calendar and honorable members participate in other committee activities. As many as are of the opinion say ayes. As many as are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. The House adjourns to Tuesday, 18th of October, 2022 at 10 a.m.